Michael, here we are back in the Red Room, and it will be business as usual with the public coming down, being able to face politicians and tell them face to face what they think of their legislation.
That's right, and the real attraction today is the government's bill for fixed election dates. We know that a lot of people will come to speak about that. Something, though, that I expect to be an even bigger source of debate will come later this week. Premier Tim Houston has told us that his government's housing plan is expected to be released on Wednesday. While he and the Housing Minister, John Lohr, haven't given us very many details about what will be in that plan, they have said that it will have short, medium, and long-term measures to try to address what has become a growing issue, not just here in HRM, but all across the province, really.
And really, it was a highlight, or what the NDP highlighted during their election campaign. Not a major plank for the PCs, but as we know, you may have an idea going into government and say, okay, this is going to be a priority, this is number one issue, and you can get sideswiped by another issue. Clearly, the PCs, I guess, picking up what the NDP have been pushing for and saying, this is a problem, we need to solve it.
Well, and in fairness, nobody coming into government would be able to overlook just what a significant issue this has become. It's easy to see it literally in Halifax, where we have tent cities, we have people trying to find some type of shelter as it's starting to get cold. But this isn't just an HRM issue, and I suspect that new MLAs, people who were just elected for the first time, are also quickly realizing that they have constituents who need help as well. And so a lot is going to be riding on this plan. While the Premier has said throughout both the campaign and since coming to power that the key to solving the issue is more housing stock, you can't deny that it's going to take a while for there to be more housing stock, and so there needs to be immediate short-term measures until that stock is available.
And we saw just how this issue can become a flashpoint in question period with one of the most heated exchanges we've seen so far between Tim Houston and the NDP leader Gary Burrell, and you could tell that there was a bit of friction, a bit of animosity here. Despite the fact it's a new House, everyone has said they want to play nice.
And so I want to say to the Premier, it's far too important a matter for us to worry about personal back and forth reciprocal diminishment. I say, what is he actually going to do to see in this country where it's getting colder every morning, where they're in their 9th week now of governing and nothing appreciably has changed? What is he actually going to do to see that people are out of tents in Nova Scotia and under roofs?
The Honourable Premier.
We're going to work to get them shelter. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do the job that's been We're going to do something that no government in this province has done for 12 years. We're actually going to focus on the problem and real solutions and not political antics.
The other thing that's been interesting about this debate so far, and this is something that I think we're going to see throughout this session, no matter the issue, it's the challenge that the Liberals have now in opposition to try to have some sort of toehold. Ian Rankin has talked a lot about how he wants to be an accountability check for this government, but the problem is, with housing and almost anything else that they choose to bring up, the quick and easy retort for the government is, well, why didn't you do it while you were in power for the last 8 years? And we perhaps saw an acknowledgement of that issue during debate last week when Halifax Atlantic MLA Brendan Maguire basically acknowledged that the government could and should have done more on this issue during their 8 years.
So when you talk to individuals, nobody wants to be homeless. Nobody wants to be homeless. They don't care. And I know people are going to stand up and say, well, I presented this bill, or you were in government. You did this, you did that. You know what they don't care? And I see some of the members shaking their head. You know what they don't care about? They don't give a who's in power. They don't care if it's Liberal, NDP, or Conservative. All they care about is how do I get a roof over my head?
And let's face it, this is just the first sitting for this new government. There is a bit of a honeymoon period while they talk about all the things the previous government didn't do that they're planning to do. But, you know, the rubber's going to have to meet the road at some point, and they're going to have to deliver on their promises.